Just an absolutely stunning day here, 90 degrees, the smoke is pretty atrocious. A whole ton of snow has come down. Hiking in this is going to be a bit of a nightmare. Well, welcome to this week's video. You join me in the Columbine Inn up in Leadville, Colorado. I'm here for a couple of nights just putting the final preparations together for possibly the biggest adventure of the year. Over the next 7 days I'm planning on doing the Collegiates Loop, which is just to the southwest of Leadville, totaling about 160 miles, and yeah, I'm finding it a little daunting. So the route I'm taking is coming from the south, starting at Monarch Crest, come up the west side, which apparently is the more rugged and picturesque side, and then about 3 days in I'll get here, which is Twin Lakes, and then head down the east side of the course, southbound, back to Monarch Crest. Although the shop owner did just warn me about the snowstorm, first of the year, that's due to hit us on Tuesday, so that could make matters interesting. Anyway, it's a beautiful place here up in Twin Lakes. Well, good morning. It is just around 6 o'clock on Saturday morning. Just finished packing up from the hotel and I'm about to drive an hour and a half south of here to Monarch Crest, where I'll park the car and start my trek. So that's me reached Monarch Crest, about to start the first day of the Collegiates Loop. So the next, hopefully 7 days, is 160 miles give or take, 33,000 feet of elevation gain. And then starting today it's sort of 21 miles and 5,500 feet. It's really pretty up here. There's a guest shop and usually a cable car, but unfortunately because COVID they've not got the cable car running this year. But they're really welcoming to hikers. You can park your car up here. You just have to give them, your details so they don't get your car towed while you're away. So yeah, looking forward to getting started. Just having breakfast before I get on, and hopefully in the next 8 or so hours I'll get to camp and hopefully find that I've packed everything I need. I'm a little bit nervous about that right now. So the Monarch gift shop is just off the main road here. Super easy to get to. Some great views of the mountains there. You gotta love their snowblower. According to the ladies in the shop, we're going to see about a foot of snow up here on Tuesday, but it'll most likely all be gone later that same day or the next day at the latest. So after about 2 miles you come into Monarch Ski Resort. I kind of love being around these while they're empty in the summer. It just feels kind of eerie and fun to be here when no one else is. Sort of stood in the middle of maybe 3 or 4 different lifts right here. It's not really until you get up here that you get away from the main road. The first couple of miles you're climbing sort of up the side of the valley that the main road is in, and then you get up here and into the ski resort, and all of a sudden you leave the road noise behind and you realise you're starting this for real. That's me pretty much at the highest point for day one, 12,000 or some feet. It's been good so far. The trail is pretty good. Over the there's like a traverse at the top here at about 12,000 feet. It is stunning up here. There's a beautiful lock-in just down the quarry there. Well, a couple of them. Looks like there might even be some campsites nearby. There is a trail down to them, but we're only a quarter of the way in for today, so I won't be stopping here. We basically just skirted round the back of that, and we are going onwards up this little rise here. Well, actually, as a nice surprise, turns out you do get down beside those lakes that we saw from the top there. Hopefully you can see one just behind me here, another one just over the rise above. So we made good time to get here, 2.5 hours. I thought it'd be more like 3.5. I'm going to stop here and have a wee drink, and then as soon as I find some shade I'll stop for lunch. But yeah, the little lock-ins are absolutely beautiful. I'm on the second of 3 climbs, got about another 1,000 feet to go on this one, and there's no doubt that it's harder to do the climbs in the heat. It isn't that hot by a lot of people's standards, but it's in the mid-70s, which by my standards is pretty hot. But we're getting there. Some different terrain as well coming up here. We've got lots of rock slides. So there you can see just a big scree slope that you're walking across. Incredible trails though. I don't know how they manage to keep the trails so good on here. Sometimes it does get a little bit technical, but for the most part, you know, they have done a fantastic job of maintaining them. Kind of dotting in and out of the trees here makes for a really pretty trail. Oh, and there you have it, at the top of the second pass for the day. I'm not going to lie, that was a hard one. It was hot and it got steep at the end, but it's beautiful views from up here. Just got one more pass to do. Unfortunately, it's about the same, another 1,500 feet of elevation gain, but I guess that means I've done at least 2/3 of the gain for the day. So up there's where we've come from. We're now down at the little lakes. I don't know if it'll come out in the camera, but they are crystal clear, beautiful lakes. So here we are on Sawmill Curve, and apparently this is where a whole bunch of mining trains derailed over the years. And I'm now on the hunt for some water. And I'll be honest, I don't particularly want to pull from this little pond. I think there might be some water up there though. Alright, I'm going to go and hunt for it. Well, it has to be said, the Alpine Tunnel Trail is a lovely piece of trail. It's perhaps going to be the easiest 1,000 feet of elevation gain, definitely today, maybe for the week, who knows. Because it's on the old railroad tracks, it's wide, it's smooth, and it's a really consistent gradient, about 6% all the way, and it's so easy, and it's just wonderfully shady for the most part as well. I'm not going down this way unfortunately, but down there is the Alpine Tunnel West Portal. And I think if you can see those cyclists down there, I think that's the portal there. Looks like there's an old turntable there, and then slightly further down looks like there's the remnants of an old station. Well, that's the end of day one. For some reason it always surprised me how hard it is to hike 25 miles with 30 pounds on your back. I got here, I went an extra 4 miles. I didn't like the initial campsite I had picked out. It was a little bit too exposed, so I came an extra couple of miles down into the valley. You can maybe see the trees just behind me here. So it's a really pretty campsite. There's another 3 tents around here. We just had dinner together, a nice chat. So just finished making my hot chocolate with my Breckenridge whiskey in it. I'm going to drink that and then go and put some more warm clothes on and then get into bed. So I will see you in the morning. Well, welcome to day 2. It's just another maybe 30 minutes or so before sunrise. I don't know if you can just see the sun starting to come up behind me. I am now on, I think, the highest pass, 12,800 and some feet. So already, a couple of miles into today. Been walking for an hour and a half so far. Oh, I'm not gonna lie, it was a hard wake up this morning. I felt like I got virtually no sleep last night. But I guess that's part of it. So I started a little bit earlier today, got up at 4, was moving by 5, with the goal being to set up camp earlier tonight to hopefully get a better night's sleep. But anyway, you cannot complain. As to places to watch the sunrise, this is perhaps, it ranks up there as one of the best. Let me just flick you around, I'll show you the trail that I've been on so far. So you can maybe just make out the trail just across the other side of the valley there. So I camped just over the other side of that pass. That was the first climb, then came round here up to the second climb, and then just about to drop down into the valley, and I think I can see the trail just down there. Not sure. This is the first of 5 passes for today. So there's going to be a lot of ups and downs. And there it is, the sun just coming up above the horizon now. Well, that's me about halfway through the passes, I guess. I've done 2, I've got another 2 or 3. I don't think I've dropped below 11,000 feet since the first pass, so it's been a day of high altitude pretty much the whole time, very little water, so I've got an extra 4 or 5 pounds of water on my back just now. Yeah, it's getting hot. And my legs are definitely feeling it after yesterday, and then we're 9 miles into today. My goal is still to do another 16 or so miles today, but we'll see how I go. Starting to get a little stressed about the storm that's due to roll in day after tomorrow. From what I can tell, it's due to get down to the low 20s and then have snow and cold wintry rain. So I think most people are aiming to get off the trail for at least 24 hours, so I may have to do something like that. I think I've got enough kit, but the margin for error is possibly a little bit thinner than I'd really want. Anyway, we'll see. It's a little bit bizarre thinking about a winter storm coming through when it's so hot up here just now, but alright, I better get on with this next climb. It does feel a bit odd being amongst all these cars and what have you after being out on the trail for a couple of days. And there is a sight for sore eyes. That's the trail diving down into the valley to Texas Creek, I think. Definitely looking forward to the next 4 or 5 miles of down. There's been a whole lot of up so far today. Well, I'll be honest, that high line traverse that took up all the morning, it pushed me to the limits. Just a lot of climbing, not much oxygen. So yeah, I found it really hard. But now we are getting near the end of where I initially was going to stop today, and I'm thinking about going a little bit further again, like I did yesterday. A curious trait that I have is whenever these challenging events start out, I seem to spend most of my time doubting myself, and then that gets me stressed and frustrated and what have you. And then 9 times out of 10 I come through. So, you know, I know for sure if I'm going to go up this last climb, which I was originally intending to start tomorrow with, it's going to be really rough. It's about 1,500 feet over 3 miles, and there's a campsite kind of just up and over the there's a small pass there. But I don't know, just kind of feel like giving it a go and see how we get on. And that is one big moose. Thankfully over the other side. Oh, it's seen me now. It's just turned its head to look at me. I'm hoping that's the only one. Well, that was one of those days. In the end, we got 28 miles in, over 6,000 feet of elevation gain, and it took just over 12 hours. According to my Garmin, it was 4,400 calories, which, you know, I budgeted 3,500, so better get cracking. Yeah, it was a days of highs and lows. Literally spent the first, I don't know, easily half of it above 11,000 feet the whole time, just traversing along a ridge, just going up and down, up and down. Lots of climbing in the first half, and then the second half was just a big long descent, really nice, through a nice big forest. I was originally going to finish today at the bottom of this climb, and there's loads of nice campsites, but there's no water, and it was at the end of a county road, so I didn't fancy it in the end. So instead opted for an extra 1,500 feet to get up to this campsite, and I'm glad I did. It's absolutely stunning. I'm here by myself, no one else around. It's just fantastic, really nice. So tomorrow is the trip across the 2 passes to Twin Lakes. I think I've decided to sit out the storm, or at least the first day of the storm, see how it goes, and then maybe get back on the trail sometime on Wednesday, depending how it goes. Unfortunately, all the places to stay in Twin Lakes are full, so that noise in the background there was Gail just messaging me on the Garmin InReach. So hopefully she's found somewhere I can stay in Leadville, and then I'll just have to find a lift or hitchhike or something to get up there from Twin Lakes. So I'm going to settle in, have my curry, have some hot chocolate, and then a well-deserved early bed, I think. I'll see you in the morning. You better not think you're getting my hot chocolate. Good morning. You joined me halfway up the first climb of day 3. We're on the way up to Lake Ann Pass, and then the second pass today is going to be Hope Pass, somewhere I've wanted to go for many years now. The sun hasn't quite come up. You can just about see it coming across the valley behind me here, just edging its way to me, so it's going to get quite bright and warm soon. Unfortunately, there is some smoke. You can possibly see it behind me, and that might explain why I was having some breathing difficulties yesterday afternoon and again this morning. Hopefully when we get up high we'll get above it, but yeah, fingers crossed. So time for second breakfast, some peanut butter M&Ms, and then crack on, get to the top of this first pass. And you can just see the trail going across the side of the valley there, and then I think at the very top there you might be able to just make out a couple of hikers. That I think is where we're going. Just over 12,000 feet I think. So that's where we stopped to get second breakfast, on those zigzags down there. You can quite clearly see the smoke from up here. And you're starting to see the sunlight just start to appear on the hillside that we're climbing up. Pretty cool. I do love watching the sun come up. Such a nice part of the day. And we're here, the top of Lake Ann Pass. Pretty decent trail all the way up, but it is steep. That's where we came from down there. Sun hasn't quite hit us yet, but you can see it just there in the ridge. It's edging its way towards us, and we are heading down the trail to our right here. Down there is Lake Ann, and somewhere over there is Winfield and then Hope Pass. So we're basically dropping down to 10,000 feet or just below, and then it's 2,500 straight up on Hope Pass. So we better get on with it. Well, as pretty as my campsite was last night, it has to be said, Lake Ann looks like it's got a stunning little spot right there in the middle. Nice meadows right above it. Well, there's the first sign that fall is on its way. The colours have started to turn. It's beautiful. Well, that's me just over halfway up Hope Pass. Flipping heck, it's hard work. I've always known it was going to be a challenge, but I think it surprised me quite how much of a challenge it is. Still, I'm really thankful to be here, really glad to be able to go up here. I've wanted to do this in a long time. Of course, the smoke isn't helping. You know, this morning I thought I saw the smoke coming in. It felt like it might have been there yesterday, but oh man, it has just got crazily bad. Just talked to a hiker on the way down, and he was indicating it's no worse over the other, no better, sorry, over the other side. So let me turn you around. I'm going to show you what should be a view of the other side of the valley. I'm not sure if you can even see the other side of the valley at the moment. It's so smoky, and that is certainly not helping my breathing or helping me get up this path. But it's one of these things. Onwards and upwards. Well, I am standing on top of Hope Pass. Man alive, that was incredible. Incredibly hard, incredibly exciting to finally be up here, because I've wanted to come here for so long. And I'm also being incredibly grateful for having the fitness to come up here, even on a day like today where the smoke is pretty atrocious. You can hardly see the peaks on either side, never mind trying to see the mountains on the other side of the valley. That was a good climb coming up there, and you know, it just reminds me today that, you know, the mountain's always in charge up here. You can't plan what's going to happen with the weather, the smoke, the altitude effects, all that sort of thing. So that makes me all the more sure that I'm making the right decision, taking at least one day off this week and sheltering out the storm that's coming. Still hard to believe that it's on the way, but can tell something's happening just with the weather that we're getting today. Anyway, from here it's just, I don't even know, 5-6 miles down to Twin Lakes. Should get there before the shop closes and then try and thumb a ride into Leadville to sit out the storm. So happy to be up here. Really, really happy. Oh my goodness, that descent was incredible. I don't know the distance or the drop. All I know is I ran possibly 2/3 of it and just loved every second of it. It's so good. We're down, just cut off the main trail. It was going along to my right here, and we're now heading on a little shortcut into Twin Lakes. Yeah, awesome descent, and still completely enshrouded by smoke. Can hardly see the other side of the valley here, which is just incredible when you think about what it was like, what was it, 3 days ago when we were here dropping off our bag. So yeah, a real shocker how quickly it's come in. Apparently this is the smoke from one of the fires to the north of here, and it's kind of the leading edge of the winter storm that's coming in. So hopefully that storm will help eventually get rid of it all. We'll see. Anyway, we're on a jeep track, and then we have to cross to the other side of the lake. So, well, my tired old feet are appreciating the nice cool water, but the half a dozen blisters I've already got are possibly going to be hating me in about 10 minutes. So we came off the trail, and I'm glad I did now. A whole ton of snow has come down really just this afternoon. Possibly in the last 3 or 4 hours we've had at least 4 inches, and it's not due to stop anytime soon. Right now I'm not 100% sure if we're going to get back on the trail tomorrow. I obviously hope I will, but hiking in this is going to be a bit of a nightmare, and I don't think it's going to melt as quickly as originally anticipated. So stay tuned and we'll see if I get back on the trail.